Plaintiff Hugh Donahue is suing his son, David Donahue, for an unpaid loan. Hugh says his son had a troubled past that included him trying to burn down a pizza shop, and it landed him in jail. David admits to being a convicted arsonist, but he says his father wasn't there for him, and that led to a lot of his problems as an adult.
Hugh Donahue is suing his son, David Donahue, for the balance on an unpaid loan and court costs. Hugh, how are you today?
Fine, thank you.
Talk to me. Why are you suing your son?
Well, first off, I'd rather not be here, but circumstances being, I loaned him some money, and he hasn't made any payments back. We've made a couple of payments, and that's all.
Okay. Tell me the circumstances of the loan, and what is your relationship with your son?
Well, let me go way back. When he was 5, his mom and I got a divorce, and then when he turned 15, he was a typical young man trying to test his wings out. She couldn't handle it, so I got full custody of him, and trying to be a good father, put him in a private school, because the schools that in the area where I was living were not all that good. And I worked for the railroad, so I was gone a lot, so I missed a lot of his growing up. But every Friday, when he had football games, I would take off from work to be there to try to be supportive.
That's not entirely true, Your Honor.
And after graduation, I went into the service, went into Desert Storm. He's had different jobs over the years, getting into managership, or assistant manager. And unfortunately, he got into a little bit of trouble because he was working for a pizza place and got 2 felonies, felony theft and felony arson. And at the time, he was dating 3 different girls in 3 different locations. And
At the same time?
Yeah.
No, it was 2 girls, Your Honor.
2 girls. I feel better.
I thought it was 3, but, I'm only dad. And anyway, I guess they had a good night or something and saw some extra money in there, and I guess he needed some to, date these girls. And that's how the felonies came about, the felony theft, felony arson. I still feel in my heart he didn't do the arson.
It sounds to me like you loaned him money and some of it out of guilt because you weren't around.
I wouldn't say guilt, just trying to help him out. We haven't had the best relationship over the years. Me being gone a lot, no communication. He's got a 5-year-old son that I don't really know because we haven't had communication over the years. I loaned him the money.
How much money are we talking about, Hugh?
Started out with $23.54. I have a breakdown right here, Your Honor.
All right. Did he sign a promissory note?
Yes, ma'am, he did. And I have a copy of that, which was also notarized.
Okay. All right. So we're talking about $23.54?
Correct.
All right. All right, David, talk to me.
Well, to describe my relationship with my father, dysfunctional is not a proper term for it. There really isn't a relationship. He's right. He doesn't know my son, who's 5. Matter of fact, he hasn't even seen him in about a year and a half, and I'd like to actually give him this picture, if I may.
What is your son's name, David?
Nicholas.
What is your reaction to that photo?
He's grown up a lot.
He's a handsome boy. Go ahead, David. You were in Desert Storm?
I was in Desert Storm. The reason why I joined the military was shortly after high school. I wasn't really doing anything. I was just not sure if I wanted to go to college or whatever. And my dad and his second wife gave me 3 options: move out, pay rent, or join the service. So I decided to join the service.
When you were 15 and you moved in with your dad, were you an out-of-control teen?
No, my mom and I argued for years, and I barely saw my dad I might have saw maybe half a dozen times at the most.
In 10 years?
In the 10 years.
Is that true, Hugh?
I don't recall. I thought it was more than that.
What's that about, Hugh?
Um,
Would you have another family?
No.
Don't you think it's inappropriate for a father to see his own child 6 times in 10 years? Let's make it 8 times.
That's probably what he remembers, about 6 times, but I did get him on holidays.
You as much as admitted to it, Hugh.
It was probably more than that. But I said I don't really recall, the actual number of times that I did visit with my kids and get
Go ahead, David.
The reason why I moved in with my dad is because my mom and I were arguing at times, Growing boy, she didn't really know how to handle me. And my mom built up this fear of me. Well, if you don't shape up, I'll just have you move in with your dad. Mm-hmm. And that went on for a few years. Mm-hmm. And then moving in with my dad, it was like there's this big fear.
All right. At some point, though, You reconnect with your father, you start borrowing money from him. What are the circumstances of the money?
I only borrowed money from him because I absolutely had to. I had no place else to go. I was looking at the time for getting into a personal loan. I was a painting contractor at the time, which I've literally switched careers because it's been more famine than feast. I had a couple potentially good jobs that were going to hopefully work out. They didn't. And there was a chance that my home was going to be foreclosed on.
So you went to your father.
I went to my father.
And he loaned you the money.
Correct.
Okay. And it's 2354. He has a promissory note that's notarized. Let's see it. You agree to that? There's no question about that? Okay. And Hugh, how did you try to collect this money from your son?
I was trying to make phone calls, which I have a list of the phone calls that I made.
Right.
I also have a email that I sent to him trying to get this resolved. And on the promissory note, he said that he would pay it back by the 1st of February.
Right.
The first payment that we received from him of $200 was in March. And I said that, I don't want to go to small claims court. He led me as such that I had to do it to try to get some money because there was no communication to say, well, I don't have it.
Are you not working?
I am working, Your Honor. I wasn't as a painting contractor. The last year and a half has been really difficult. I was self-employed. Toward the latter part of July of last year, I got back into car sales, which is what I've been doing since.
Oh, that's not too good either.
No, but the way I look at it is, being a painting contractor, if I wasn't working, I wasn't earning anything. Worst case scenario, if I don't make sales, I get minimum wage. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you about, what is your father talking about when he talks about the felony conviction?
It was a bad mistake that I made years ago.
What did you do?
I was accused of stealing some money and
arson.
And covering it up with fire. Yes, ma'am. I ended up taking a plea deal on it.
You go to prison?
Yes, ma'am.
How long?
It was less than a year.
What a shame. A guy who serves in Desert Storm, you come back and you go to prison.
Yes, ma'am. But I'm also refused to let a speed bump in my life stop me from pursuing success.
Well, and you know what? You shouldn't. You did your time. That's the end of it. You keep looking forward. There's no question. But part of looking forward and ignoring the speed bump is making sure that you don't hit other speed bumps. You owe your father money. Why wouldn't you get a job doing anything?
I tried. The way he had me pay him back was literally painting the inside of 3 houses.
Did you do it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he do it?
He did one house. We tried to work out a deal to where he would come up and paint our current house to knock some money off this loan, and he wanted to bring his son up, but my wife and I, we had things that we were going to do and felt that David couldn't give his undivided attention for painting to keep up with his son, and...
Oh, goodness. Yeah. You're a very insensitive man, Hugh. It's not always about the money. You have a grandson here. He's reaching out to you. He hasn't seen you. He admits he owes you the money. He gives you a picture of his son that you haven't seen in a year. To me, that is an olive branch screaming. You want him to pay you back by painting the house. He wants to bring his son, whether he had babysitting problems or not, I don't know, and I don't care. I would think as a grandparent, you would be delighted. What's wrong with you? You got something lacking there. And I'm not trying to humiliate you. I really am not. I think that what we've got here is someone who has some anger issues. Father wasn't around. After 10 years, mother throws him out. You go live with your father that you don't know with his new wife. I mean, this is tough stuff. At the end of the day, I mean, there's no question. The plaintiff loaned you money. You signed a notarized promissory note to pay him back, and you haven't paid him back. You've got to pay him the money. But this is more than about a promissory note. It's about a relationship. And you have not been there for him. He's still reaching out to you. I don't know if you're capable of being there. I'd like more than anything, once I make my decision, for the two of you to have some kind of relationship. At the end of the day, when you're on your deathbed, all of us, you don't look back and say, did I work enough? Did I do this? Did I succeed the way I wanted to? It's what's my legacy? Where's my family? Did I spend quality time with them?
I would love to have a relationship with my son.
Would you?
Yes, I would, honestly. And I have tried reaching out a few times over the holidays, and there's times that, granted, I don't go down there and see him as often as I would like to. That doesn't materialize.
What do you think, David?
I think he's not telling the truth completely.
What?
His mom, my grandmother, who's in a nursing home because she's got dementia, fell down in either October or November of last year, broke her hip. I found out from my sister. My dad still hasn't told me. My dad and I went to our very first baseball game, first and only baseball game a few years ago when the Angels won the World Series. I taught myself how to shave, which is a huge step for a father-son relationship. He really hasn't been there. I want a relationship with him, but it's kind of tough to have a relationship when his comment was literally, well, if you don't come up here, I'll just write you off. It's kind of tough to have a relationship with somebody who is so willing to give up a relationship.
And you know what? I've called him out on how I think he's handled your relationship. But I also think that he is right now an older gentleman who is entitled to the money. You're in a position to be able to earn some money. And so, you know, whether he says he's going to write you off or not is really about his wanting the money. I think that when the two of you leave here, I'd like very much for the two of you to be able to, you know, put this behind you, because I'm going to do everything I can to put it behind you. You're going to walk out of here and you're going to walk out of here and this whole thing is going to be over. If there is any chance of, you know, salvaging what he desperately wants and what he didn't have, and you have to recognize that, then you've got to come halfway. You willing to do that?
Oh, yes, definitely.
You need to do that. You'll feel better about yourself. Verdict for the plaintiff, and maybe you can shake hands. What do you think?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So ordered.
Thank you, Your Honor.